Adrian, thank you, and a very good evening to you. Stamford Bridge plays host to a tie that is beautifully poised. Fortnight ago, Chelsea booed off by an element of their travelling support after a listless, one-dimensional performance on Teesside that has introduced more than an element of jeopardy to an encounter that many neutrals thought would be routine. Tonight, the Blues have work to do, and circumstances dictate that this competition is more important than it's been for years for them. The Blues have won the Europa League, the Champions League and the Club World Cup since they last claimed a domestic honour. They have a bad week now. Their season is over in January. They are warm favourites. Middlesbrough, like Chelsea, way short at full strength because of injury, hoping to draw on the cup pedigree of the club's golden age around the turn of the century with a starting 11 that costs just over £17 million. That's about an arm's worth of Moises Caicedo. The financial disparity is enormous, but at the helm a man with untold experience. Michael Carrick played in 12 major semi-finals in his career. He's seen everything that a last four tie has to offer. Tonight, he said he anticipates the best version of Chelsea. He's been playing down his side's chances, publicly anyway. Chelsea make two changes to the side that beat Fulham. Malo Gusto injured, Conor Gallagher drops to the bench. Then Chilwell makes his first start since late September. It's Petrovic in goal. Disasi, Thiago Silva, Colwell and Chilwell. Caicedo and Fernandes. Sterling, Palmer, Mudryk and Royer. Stuart, what are your thoughts on that Chelsea team?
Well, the odd surprise, I would say, Jim, the fact that Gallagher's not in there for his energy and his drive, without a doubt. I'm not sure whether Maurizio thinks if he juggles his pack slightly, if this 11 isn't good enough, then I've got people from the bench to come and influence the game and win the game from the bench. So, listen, Jim, Chelsea should be strong enough across the board to get past and win a home game here against Middlesbrough. But we all know football isn't as clear-cut as that.
While Borough have Johnny Howson back from injury, as expected, Isaiah Jones hasn't recovered from his weekend knock. Ayling, Greenwood and Zazor cup tied. Ladilap and Bangura injured in the first leg. It's Glover in goal, Vandenberg, Fry, Clark and Engel, Barlasser, Howson and Hackney, and Rodgers and Crooks off course. But before the game starts, there'll be a tribute to a Chelsea great of the 60s and 70s, Tommy Baldwin, who scored nearly 100 goals for the Blues after signing from Arsenal in 1966. He was part of the side that won the FA Cup in 1970, and he passed away yesterday. Stamford Bridge remembers him now. Stamford Bridge playing tribute to Tommy Baldwin. Well, it's more than a decade since the side from outside the top flight reached a domestic cup final. Can Middlesbrough take their chance? A draw tonight and they're at Wembley. Or will Chelsea overturn their first leg deficit and reach their 12th major final in 9 years? Middlesbrough in all red, Chelsea blue shirts and shorts and white socks, and Middlesbrough kicking from left to right, defending the shed end of the ground that houses the travelling Teessiders. And it's Borough that pumped the ball forward, goes over Rodgers and through to Petrovic in the Chelsea goal. And interesting that Borough playing 4-2-3-1 in these early stages, with certainly the initial encounter is Rodgers that's playing through the middle, Marcus Force on the right, Hackney on the left, and Crooks playing as a 10 in support of Rodgers up front. Chelsea with the ball at Levi Colwell's feet. Thiago Silva looks for Raheem Sterling, long ball played forward, and Glover can come out and play that. On a night where the wind and rain has really picked up over the last 30-40 minutes or so here in West London. Swirling, rain-sodden breeze that is in the faces of the Middlesbrough players in this first half. I'm delighted to say the former League Cup winner, former England international Stuart Pearce alongside me. It is beautifully poised with Middlesbrough having that first leg lead, and unless they go 3 down tonight, they're still in it. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, as I say, when the result come in from Middlesbrough, it was probably the absolute ideal score to go into the second leg. Not so much for Chelsea, but certainly for ourselves, sat up in the stand. And just while on the subject, just want to send my condolences to Tommy Baldwin's family. Tommy was a teammate of mine when I was a non-leaguer at Wealdstone. So, yeah, very sad news.
There'll be some very touching tributes paid here today. Tommy Langley, who made his debut for Chelsea as a 16-year-old alongside Tommy Baldwin up front in the mid-1970s, had some fantastic, wonderful, eloquent and loving words for his former teammate, and he will be sorely missed. Our very best wishes to Tommy's family and friends. Chelsea in possession here, 0-0 on the night, and 1-0 to Middlesbrough on aggregate. Hayden Hackney's goal in the first half of that first game. The decisive moment so far is Howson brings the ball forward in midfield. Crooks couldn't quite get it under control. Hackney chasing after it. Colwell can mop up and guide it back to his goalkeeper. There have been some goals elsewhere, and what's a busy night in the EFL Trophy. Crawley took the lead at Peterborough, but the Posh very quickly back on level terms in League 1. Exeter lead at Bristol Rovers, Northampton at Charlton, both by a goal to nil. League 2, Salford a goal up at Bradford. Sutton lead at Mansfield, which would be a major shock if it stays that way. MK Dons leading Wimbledon by a goal to nil. And amongst the significant non-league goals tonight, Chippenham 0, Torquay 1 in the National League South. You've got to say it when it's good news. You have to say it, because you never know when the next opportunity will be. It's actually MK Dons 2, Wimbledon 0. Borough bringing the ball forward. We'll keep up to date with all of the goals as they go in over the course of the night. The ball swept inside the penalty area will be chased, picked up by Petrovic. Front foot start here from Middlesbrough. We talked before the game, Stuart, about the fact that they would love to have played a back 3 again tonight. It worked really well in that first game, but just hasn't got a natural right wing back that can play that role in the absence of Isaiah Jones and Bangura, who performed well on the left. They might have got away with playing Bangura and Engel as the wing backs tonight, but just couldn't do it. So he has flattened off. It's a 4-2-3-1 by and large, but they've been more than prepared to take the game to Chelsea in these early exchanges. Well,
they've played out from the back and done extremely well doing so, and also as well they've had a couple of opportunities where Howson played a really good ball to Hackney, who just wasn't as good as Howson was on the ball, sadly. And similar type of thing happened a couple of minutes ago with Rodgers. Good opportunity, and they're staging another attack as we speak.
So here's Marcus Force, the former Brentford man, who's done well as a substitute in recent weeks. He's another player who's been injured this season. Howson coming forward, slips it down towards Force on the Borough right. Howson continuing his run, just offside. Showed for the ball on the edge of the penalty area, just a fraction too far forward. Thiago Silva pushed up, got him offside. Free kick going to be taken by Chelsea inside their penalty area. How did they approach this tonight, bearing in mind that the draw is with Middlesbrough?
Who, Chelsea?
Yeah.
Well, they've got to get on the front foot. You've got to try and put Middlesbrough on the back foot from the first moment. I don't think they've done that at the moment, Jim, and you made the comment, Middlesbrough have settled into the game quite nicely, and yes, they have. And the longer the game goes on at this scoreline, the more comfortable Middlesbrough will be that, hang on a minute, we can get something from this, and more fidgety the crowd will become.
Yeah, one of those nights where the clock will tick down mighty slowly. If you've made the journey down from Teesside, 5 minutes gone in this second leg, but it'll go quickly if you're a Chelsea fan, at least until they break the deadlock, if they break the deadlock. Silva sliding, just getting the ball away from Matt Crooks, and able to steer it down for Disasi, who's back at right back in the absence of Marlo Gusto. Hasn't been able to train in recent days, and he's missing out tonight. So Disasi's moved from the centre out to right back. Colwell's come in to the centre from left back, where he had a difficult time in the first leg a fortnight ago. Ben Chilwell back in that position on the left-hand side of the back line. Ball chipped over the top here for Enzo Fernandez, who made a run past Breuer. He probably was offside as well. And it goes through for the Aussie goalkeeper. Glover will pick the ball up on the edge of his own penalty area, and Borough will play out from the back with the Balding Crooks. Ball forward from Clark. Out to the left-hand side of the midfield where it'll be just worked forward there by Dan Barlasser. There's space for Rab Vandenberg on the Middlesbrough right. He's just got to change his line of attack to get in there. He's worked in inside the penalty area. Disasi can clear. Comes outside the box for Howson. Play forward by him. Force delivering inside the penalty area. And Chilwell will stop it going out of play for a corner. But it's a Middlesbrough throw down by the Chelsea corner flag. 0-0.
Some really good composed build-up play there by Middlesbrough. Sweeping the ball out to Vandenberg on this side. And a couple of crosses come in the box. Chelsea fortunately got first contact on all of them.
Middlesbrough taking the throw. Crooks doing well to win it back. Works it by Dunbar Lasseter, who arrived at Borough for less than $1 million from Rotherham. Now to be played for by Clark. Just trying to chip the ball over the top for Lucas. Engel make the run forward from left back, but he overhit it. And it goes out of play. Elsewhere, Charlton 1, Northampton 1. Bradford have equalised at home to Salford through Brad Halliday. And Colwell will bring the ball forward from the back here for Chelsea. 7 minutes gone in this second leg. Enzo Fernandez dropping deep in the midfield, picking up possession, finding Silva. Zassi bringing the ball forward. The yellow ball just worked out towards Raheem Sterling on the Chelsea right-hand side. Sterling has got such a wonderful record in this competition. He won it 4 times. Won it against Chelsea back in 2019. As part of a hat-trick of successes he had in this League Cup. Middlesbrough have won it back. Force, a little inadvertent 1-2 there with Crooks. Chelsea can smuggle it back. Sorry, Jim.
At this moment, what I'm seeing is a Chelsea team that look devoid of finding a pass to cut through Middlesbrough. They played probably 4 passes, long, hopeful passes over the top of the back line that have gone way too long into the goalkeeper's hands. And Middlesbrough playing some really good build-up play and just short of that final pass at this moment in time.
Well, that by and large was the problem that Chelsea had in the first leg. They had so much possession for an away side, stringing the passes together but not having the cutting instinct to go with it. Mudryk now will try and make something happen, and on the edge of the D gets a right-footed shot which takes a deflection and spins over the bar for the first corner of the night, which Chilwell will come across to take on the Chelsea leg.
Yeah, I've got to say, in a couple of the previous games I've seen, Newcastle in the previous round, Palace here, Chelsea have won the games but in an unconvincing fashion, and I think their fans will be hoping for a bit more of that. Yes, get through the tie if they can, but they'll want to see a little bit more slick football from them.
6 Chelsea players inside the Middlesbrough penalty area as they look for the aggregate leveller. Ball inside the box is half cleared. Mudryk picking it up, works it out towards the Chelsea right full Raheem Sterling. Every Middlesbrough player still back, fired inside the penalty area. High header helped on by Mudryk, clicked over the top. Colwell is in there lurking, doesn't break his way. Crooks will put his foot through it and clear for Middlesbrough towards halfway, where it goes out for a Chelsea throw. And Chilwell just waiting for the ball to be returned. And takes the throw as quickly as he can. Pochettino just out away from the edge of the technical area, standing with his hands in his coat pocket. I think he'll be over-enamoured with what he's seen so far in the opening 10 minutes. And certainly Glover's had nothing like a save to have to make so far. And Silva brings the ball forward here for Chelsea. Through the centre of midfield to Enzo Fernandez and back to Colwell. Silva again bringing it out of the centre circle. The play for the last 3 minutes concentrated in the Middlesbrough half of the field, but still 0-0 here on TalkSport. Now it's worked back for Thiago Silva again, who won a score of domestic honours in France with PSG. Into double figures in terms of domestic cup competitions he won with them. Here he has it again and plays it down towards Axel Disasi. Disasi controlling it, comes back in field. Silva to Colwell. Chelsea string the passes together at the back effectively enough, but they are just going sideways with it at the moment and not forwards.
Yeah, they certainly are, but I tell you who's doing a really good job at the front end of Borough's team in pressing and making it difficult for the front line is Crooks and Rogers. they're spelling it between which one of them. If it comes your side of the pitch, I get up to it, you drop into the holding midfield player and vice versa, and doing a really good job.
Straight ball chipped over the top. Oh, Chilwell's come to meet it, and it goes wide. And the crowd not happy because they think he was fouled. It was a long ball punted over the top. Chilwell made a run from deep. Glover, the keeper, came out towards the edge of the penalty area. Chilwell got there first. Not that it passed him, but wide. Mudryk, convinced it should be a penalty, has talked his way into the book, but it will be a goal kick.
Well, this is what astounds me in football. The goalkeeper can come and potentially, and I mean, I watched the West Ham game at the weekend, and Areola was adjudged to have fouled, come to get something, and missed it and hit the player. On that occasion, Chilwell's headed the ball, the goalie's clattered him, and the referee, well, has declined the penalty.
A few goals elsewhere. Northampton back ahead at Charlton through Sam Hoskins, their leading scorer. Peterborough turn it round against Crawley in the EFL Trophy. Ephraim Mason-Clark. MK Dons 3, Wimbledon 0 inside the first quarter of the game. Dundee leading at Hearts, who are going well at the moment, but Jordan McGee has scored for Dundee against the Hearts side, who are third in the Scottish Premiership. Bolton leading Cheltenham 1-0. And in the National League, Chesterfield against Woking going with the form, but Will Grigg has given the Spireites the lead there. Chesterfield 1, Woking 0. This one is 0-0 with 12 minutes in. And Thiago Silva plays it to his left-hand side for Levi Colwell. You're with Talk Sport. Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce talking through the action from Stamford Bridge tomorrow night. It's the second leg of Fulham against Liverpool. Liverpool 2-1 up from that first leg. And the winners of that play, the winners of this one, live on Talk Sport Sunday, February the 25th. The League Cup final will be here. Ben Chilwell in possession. Back through the midfield for Enzo Fernandez. He's worked it square for Disasi. Raheem Sterling out on the right-hand side. Middlesbrough happy to cede the width to Chelsea by and large. And the ball is over in those wide positions. Borough work it back and then clear away from the edge of their own penalty area. Anywhere will do, on a night that a clean sheet will see them through. Chelsea with a really good record here in this competition against lower division opposition, incidentally. Last time they lost in the last century, Huddersfield beat them in a League Cup tie. You might remember back in 1999, but since then, against lower division opposition on this ground in the League Cup, played 16, won 15, and drawn the other one. But a draw here will eliminate Chelsea tonight. Here's Palmer. He missed a few very significant chances in that first leg, and how significant they'll be we'll only find out at the end of tonight. He's worked it back out towards the right-hand side, and Chelsea will come through the middle now to build with Thiago Silva and Colwell. And the Brazilian will work it down towards the right-hand side for Disasi. Disasi shuffling forward on that right-hand side, almost apologetically. Fernandez into the feet of Sterling. Now clipped left-footed through the midfield. Chilwell coming to meet it. Marcus Force there first. Chilwell nudged it past him and then plays a great ball in. Massive chances for Chelsea. It's Breuer and it's in. And he needed a couple of touches, but he got it onto his right foot, set himself, plays it into the bottom left-hand corner. And inside the first 15 minutes of this second leg, Chelsea lead on the night, and they're back on level terms in the tie. Armando Breuer.
Yeah, they've ended up, Chelsea, probably paying Borough paying the penalty for being a bit loose when they've turned the ball over from deep line possession, giving it back to Chelsea. And Chelsea continually went forward, and then players not marking their runners going in the back line. And I think it might well have been an own goal, actually, from a recovering defender, potentially.
Well, it looks as though it might have been Johnny Howson that got the touch just to help it over the line. Sterling pulling it back for Breuer, who set himself on his right foot, and Howson knew that he had to come back and try and do something, and it's just come off his thigh. Just maybe clip Breuer on the way through. I'm sure he will claim it. The Chelsea lead. It's 1-0 on the night and 1-1 on aggregate. And Middlesbrough look for an immediate response.
Yeah, as I say, it wasn't the best of balls from Sterling when he broke behind the Borough back line. He's pulled it across the face of goal. ball wasn't in front of Breuer, just behind him, and that enabled Howson to get back and just...
Middlesbrough take a corner. Shaw, good save from Petrovic, diving to his right-hand side, snatched the ball into his body to deny Morgan Rogers an equalising goal. Middlesbrough not looking downcast, not letting matters get on top of them immediately after the restart, forcing a corner and forcing a save from Petrovic. So effectively it just becomes a 74-minute cup tie here now from this point onwards. Enzo Fernandez looks long. Sterling will chase after a well-intentioned ball that just bounced and seemed to gather pace, if anything, and just roll away over the line out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Glover for Middlesbrough. How does this change the Borough game plan, if at all, Stuart Pearce?
Well, I don't think it does, but what I would say, they've been defending very deep and compact, both sort of strikers. Well, a striker and a number 10 have been dropping very, very deep, and on a couple of occasions Borough have just not played out cutely enough to get the team up the pitch, and that's something that they've got to make sure they address if they can.
So here's force for Middlesbrough towards the edge of the penalty area. It's come back off Enzo Fernandez, but picked up by Petrovic. Oxford 0, Barnsley 1. Sam Long scoring that goal in League One. And Chelsea bring the ball forward over on the far touchline. It's a Sam Long own goal. I should have said that game for clarification. Chelsea 10 yards aside their own half. And again, just exchanging passes between the two centre halves. Now it'll be played out to the right for Axel Disasi. Controls it, works it back infield. Enzo Fernandez. Two Middlesbrough players quickly putting him under pressure. There's Force and Crooks. Played over the top again. Howson coming across, chests it down, tries to smuggle it away. Bounced behind him inside the penalty area, and he hooked it clear. But those runs from Chilwell are really causing problems for Middlesbrough. He's starting about 30 yards outside the area, and he's making third-man runs in beyond Breuer, trying to take midfielders with him.
Well, it certainly looks like a tactic from Chelsea. They must have played the ball from 30-40 metres straight over the back line of Middlesbrough, and it's been Chile on 2 or 3 occasions that's made that run from out to in.
Here's Raheem Sterling for Chelsea. Middlesbrough at the moment just trying to hang in there. They haven't conceded the 15th minute goal, which has gone down as a Johnny Howson OG. Chilwell back inside his own half. Colwell now to Thiago Silva. Possession very much in Chelsea's favour, as you would have anticipated at the start of the night. 71-29, and they've had 3 of the 4 attempts that we've seen in this game. The own goal doesn't count as one of those. They've certainly been getting themselves into the better positions.
Yeah, they've been a bit loose with their passing, their straight passing. Colwell especially with his forward passing. Just got to be a little bit cuter with his passing. Just over it in quite a few things. Middlesbrough inviting the press. Clark plays it forward down the left-hand side. It's come off Hayden Hackney. The man who's played under 21 football for both Scotland and England in the recent past, and it's the score of the Borough winner on Teesside. It's almost his hometown club. He comes from just down the river in Redcar. Colwell in possession. Work it forward, Mudryk, very quickly closed down there by Marcus Force, who's robbed him, and now Crooks, who scored a famous goal for Middlesbrough at Manchester United in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago. Vandenberg is in there, bounces very awkwardly on halfway by Lassa, trying to help it on. Chelsea have won it back, and Breuer will work it out towards the Chelsea right-hand side here for Cole Palmer. Palmer, the match winner in the last Chelsea game against Fulham, trying to get on the return ball from Raheem Sterling, but it was overhit, and it goes through for Glover away to our left-hand side. We're 20 minutes in. Chelsea 1, Middlesbrough 0, 1-1 on aggregate here on TalkSport. Yeah, we've just seen in that last phase of attack by Chelsea exactly probably what they're missing a little bit. Ball come up to Breuer, he's played it to Palmer, hit it too hard, too wide, and then Sterling's overhit his forward pass. Mansfield have equalised in League 2, home to Sutton, 1-1 there. Mansfield 1 point off the top if they win tonight. Sutton behind Forest Green Rovers at the bottom of the table
on goal difference. George Maris with the equalising goal. It's a 1 apiece there, 1-0 here. The Middlesbrough side who've been prolific away from home this season in the Championship. Only Leicester have scored more away goals than Borough in the Championship this season, yet they've still lost as many as they've won in the league away from home. Here's Vandenberg. He's chasing after a ball that was played forward, and he whacked it into space, chased it, but Chilwell went with him every step of the way, and Vandenberg had overhit it. It goes out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea are at full tilt at the moment, but you know they're certainly in the ascendancy against this Borough side. Borough started quite brightly, I've got to say, but they've sat back into a deep line sort of formation, and Chelsea are finding it quite comfortable. I think if Chelsea get another goal, then it will be very, very difficult for Borough to sort of get a press on Chelsea and shake possession off them.
Big week this for Chelsea. The League Cup semi-final tonight, and then an FA Cup fourth round tie against Aston Villa here on Friday. We'll bring you that one as well. That's on TalkSport 2 at 7:45. It's one of 9 FA Cup commentaries across the TalkSport network this week. They get underway on Friday with a double bill, Chelsea, Villa, and also Spurs, Manchester City at the same time here on TalkSport on Friday night. Also, a day for your diary Sunday, Manchester United's trip to Newport, our exclusive game here on TalkSport, a 4:30 kickoff from Rodney Parade on Sunday. Chelsea bringing the ball forward here at Stamford Bridge tonight, and it's cleared on the edge of the box and put out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Blues' right-hand side on halfway. Worked all the way back for Petrovic. He's had a good start to his Chelsea career, having a lengthy run in the side in the injury-enforced absence of Robert Sanchez. One of the reasons why Chelsea have had this decent unbeaten record here at Stamford Bridge in recent months, unbeaten in 8 here in all competitions. They've won 4 of the last 5 games all told, with the exception being the first leg between these two. They've got the noses in front in this one after that Howson own goal. Howson, veteran, so many miles on the clock, more than 700 club games, but this the first semi-final tie in which he's ever played. Thiago Silva, who's played quite a few, forward for Cole Palmer. Palmer's got Chilwell making a run outside him. He's gone in the central instead, where Breuer tried an acrobatic flick on that didn't come off. Borough winning it back. Rogers driving forward, but he lost out to Palmer. Disasi now invited forward from the back and shoots from distance. Cannons into Clark, breaks for Enzo Fernandez. Palmer tried to get into a shooting position and stumbled, but he was back on his feet in the blink of an eye. Almost able to work something Mudrik's way, but an intricate touch didn't come off. Borough will try and bring it forward, and it's hit Rogers, and Crooks might be able to get there first. Good covering from the Chelsea back line, ensured that didn't happen. Just for a moment, it looks as though it might be a 3-on-2 break for Middlesbrough, but Colwell did really well.
Yeah, he did. He showed good pace there just to get first contact and put it out of play, but Cole Palmer was fully responsible for that, attempting a back heel when it really wasn't on.
Borough going again with Clark. Midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line. Howson to Hackney, and now back behind square for lifelong Middlesbrough fan Dale Fry. Fry getting it forward and then getting it back from Crooks. Barlaser will play it through the midfield. Howson getting it from Hackney, turns it back. Now back for Dale Fry again. Fry worked forward towards the edge of the centre circle. Vandenberg is the outball on the Middlesbrough right-hand side, but they couldn't find him. Change of roles for him tonight, incidentally, as well. He played on the right of the 3 centre-halves in the first game, but plays as a right-back tonight. Here's Cole Palmer. And Palmer brings it back towards halfway. Player's had a really good start to his Chelsea career after his £42 million move from Manchester City. Leicester City old boy Raheem Sterling plays a little 1-2 with Palmer. Now he comes back for Thiago Silva. This is still all concentrated in Middlesbrough territory. Colwell bringing it forward. 2 centre-halves just swap sides for a moment. Colwell moving out to the right. And he's got it again here, the left footer, and plays it forward through the midfield for Moises Caicedo. Caicedo's got plenty of time to bring it under control and run round it. Enzo Fernandez, lovely touch after A poor pass to him, but he did well to make something of it, and just flicked it with his left foot away from Howson, then controlled it with his right, and he's got it again, the World Cup winner, trying to get Mudryk in behind Van den Berg, who slid in, recovered well, and actually played it off Mudryk out for a goal kick. 1-0 on the night, 1-1 on aggregate, and all the major drama of the night still lies ahead of us here on TalkSport.
Yeah, because of the compactness of the Borough side and the narrowness of it as well, Chelsea have got freedom to pass the ball around the back, get it out wide and back inside again. And what Borough have got to do, make sure they don't lose the intensity of their press and sliding across from side to side. Otherwise Chelsea will certainly exploit those gaps.
Hackney gets it out to the Middlesbrough left, and then Barlaser comes forward, but is steering it towards Rodgers. It was Shredder Caicedo. Palmer cut out by the retreating Clark, who flicked out a left foot. Second opportunity for Palmer to play an incisive pass. He looked for Breuer, couldn't find him. Clark chests away on the edge of his own area. It was a brave, if possibly slightly foolish ball from Hackney back to the edge of his own box, but he did find red rather than blue. And Howson will turn and bring it under control in the centre of midfield, and he exchanges passes with Dan Barlaser. In the Premiership, Dundee 2-up at Tynecastle away to Hearts. Lyle Cameron has scored the second goal there. It's as you were in all the games in England. A 1-0 lead here for Chelsea, who have overturned the first leg deficit in the League Cup semi-finals in 2 of the last 3 attempts. You might remember the game against Spurs here 5 seasons ago. They lost 1-0 in the first leg away from home, as they've done here. They won 2-1 here. They won on penalties. A similar story against Arsenal back in the day in 1998, when they lost 2-1 at Highbury and came back here and won Luca Vialli's first game 3-1 to make it through to the final.
I've got to say, in the last 5 minutes or so, Jim, I'm seeing a couple of worrying signs for Middlesbrough. I think they're not defending with the intensity they did. I think there's gaps between their ranks, and Chelsea will find the holes in the through passes.
Silva gets it out of the right for Disasi. Hackney tracking back. Sterling has been able to play round. It's Breuer, didn't get hold of it. Enzo Fernandez can. And 28 minutes into the second leg, Chelsea have already turned it around. They had the aggregate lead, and they're an hour away from Wembley. Borough blown away, haven't been able to live with this Chelsea start, and they now have a huge amount of work to do. The Smoggies' dreams potentially going up in smoke tonight. Chelsea 2, Middlesbrough 0.
If the words fell out my mouth, exactly that happened. Borough have lost that intensity that they showed in the first 10 minutes or so. They're off the pace, there's no doubt about that. And if they're not careful, this game could end up a 5 or 6-0.
While Enzo Fernandez had so much time and space on the edge of the 6-yard box. Disasi doing well, getting it in. Not sure whether it was Breuer's intention to go for a shot or try and scuff it square, but the loose ball worked its way through towards Enzo Fernandez. Maybe with a little touch off a Middlesbrough defender. And Fernandez there, 7 yards out, gratefully blasting the ball for his 5th Chelsea goal. And now Clark caught in possession right on the right-hand edge of his own penalty area. Sterling trying to win it back. Disasi's got it. Sterling went down. He's getting back to his feet now. Middlesbrough got to do something, got to try and do something to stem the flow here. Chelsea, couldn't call them irrepressible with a capital I, but they've certainly been good enough in this opening half hour. It's been a difficult 10 minutes for Middlesbrough, and no sign at the moment it's going to get any better for them.
If someone said to me, have Chelsea been that good or Borough that bad, it's probably a mix of the two, but more so Borough have come off the pace of what they try to do in the early stages and making life a little bit too easy for Chelsea.
Fly working it back here for Dale Fry. And he's lost it after a heavy touch. In the end, he can get the ball away. Puts it out for a throw that'll be taken on the Chelsea left. Reminder, we will bring you live and exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of England's 5-match test series in India over on TalkSport 2. First test gets underway Thursday morning in Hyderabad. Team's going to be on air from 3:45 a.m. I know you'll be there with them, as indeed I will, every ball of that 5-match test series here on the TalkSport network. TalkSport 2, 3:45 Thursday morning for the first test. A big test for Middlesbrough tonight, and one at the moment that they haven't yet come to grips with. They haven't done themselves justice after a superb, dogged performance on Teesside a fortnight ago, but they haven't been able to replicate those characteristics here so far. And on the back foot again here, Sterling sending it high inside the penalty area, bounces on the edge of the box, Vandenberg hooks it clear, Crooks will help it further on, and then Chilwell was guilty of ball watching, and Marcus Forss worked it past him. An opportunity now for Rodgers, running towards the edge of the area, couldn't take the ball with him, as he had options either side, caught in two minds, and Colwell just stepped up from the defensive line, dispossessed him. And a promising Middlesbrough position now ends up as being a Chelsea counter-attack. Sterling urged to attack, right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Broy went near post, he went behind him, and Mudryk couldn't get there in time. Borough will bring it away, but Chelsea 2-0 up, 2-1 up on aggregate, and as things stand, it will be they who will be playing Fulham or Liverpool in the final. We'll find out together who it's going to be tomorrow. That second leg live on TalkSport. Now Rodgers on the right flank here for Middlesbrough. Hackney had played a really incisive ball into space. Then whether Rodgers thought he was going to be offside, I'm not sure that he was, but he stopped his run, and Chelsea got it back easily and can build, and Middlesbrough desperately need to try and find some form of reset here to get themselves back into the game stream.
Yeah, they certainly do, and since that first 5-10 minutes, you can see the gulf between the two teams in athleticism, in movement, in passing range, and it's taken a bit of that spirit away from Middlesbrough, I've got to say.
Chilwell's midway inside his own half. Colwell finding Thiago Silva. Silva venturing forward back into Middlesbrough territory again. Space for Cole Palmer. Palmer slipping it in for Enzo Fernandez, and he didn't really get hold of it. Glover dived to his left, made a save that was easier than it might have been. Very grateful to be able to pounce on that and save it. It could have been 2 in 4 minutes for Enzo.
Well, what they're doing now, Middlesbrough are finding out the standard of the Premier League, and any slight mistake that Middlesbrough make, or not tracking a runner slightly, even some of the basic things, are getting punished by efforts at goal.
Yeah, this is running away from them pretty quickly. Glover there on the stretch just got it away as Middlesbrough were playing out from the back, but doing so without conviction. Colwell finding Thiago Silva. It's inside the centre circle, out towards Disasi. Hackney will shuffle across here for Middlesbrough, but it's gone in behind Engel for Sterling. He's flagged offside, this time by the assistant referee Nick Grinhell. And it's a free kick that will be taken by Borough just outside their own penalty area. They have got a lousy record on this ground. And Middlesbrough's last win here back in 1975, it was a Borough side containing Graham Souness, David Armstrong, Terry Cooper. They won 2-1, haven't won any of their 21 visits to Stamford Bridge since. In fact, they haven't scored in the last 9 visits here since an Alan Boksic penalty some 23 years ago. They need 1 here, and if they can get it, that might take the game to extra time. The sliding challenge comes in from Thiago Silva, getting it away from Rodgers, able to play down the line for Disasi, chipped over the top by him, headed away by Dale Fry. Mudryk brings the ball under control. He's got the chance to run at the Borough back line, but 3 very quickly converged upon him, and Middlesbrough actually very neatly with Vandenberg able to play their way out from the back. It was a clever touch from him. Coming down to the right flank, Middlesbrough will try and work it infield with Marcus Forss, and now it's worked to the edge of the centre circle and on towards Crooks. Matt Crooks has got 3 in blue buzzing around him, and they were able to dispossess him easily. Mudryk, right-footed, chipped out towards Raheem Sterling. That out ball on the right-hand side, always on, but they couldn't find him, and Middlesbrough will be able to get the ball under control and bring it away with Barlassa playing it through the midfield. Goal in the African Cup of Nations, incidentally. Angola leading Burkina Faso by a goal to nil. They win that group if they're victorious tonight, The other game in that group is Mauritania against Algeria. Algeria could be out of the competition. They will be if they lose that game. On the day that Ghana have already been eliminated. They can't be one of the sides with the best third place record. But the Mauritania-Algeria game currently 0-0. Angola leading Burkina Faso by a goal to 0. And Charlton have equalised in first half stoppage time at the Valley at home to Northampton. 2-2. Here's Cole Palmer getting it forward for Chelsea, looking for a third. Sterling, Disasi, there it is. It's unravelled astonishingly quickly here for Middlesbrough. Chelsea, with a real statement of intent, have taken control of this tie with a lead that already, before half-time, looks impregnable. Beaten a fortnight ago, 3 up tonight, and 3-1 up on aggregate.
Well, as I say, the writing was on the wall, to be honest with you, after the first goal, and the longer this game's gone on, the more Chelsea look more athletic, quicker, and Middlesbrough look as though it's just ripped the heart out of them, basically, that first goal. And as I said, this could be a 6 or 7er. It really could, if it carries on following the same format, this game.
2 in 7 minutes, 3 in the last 21. And Axel Disasi making his way forward. He's only scored 1 goal for Chelsea so far, which came on his debut against Liverpool. But how this club has needed this as a performance and as a scoreline. And talking about the fact that this was a crucial week for them. 2 cup ties. And we're not over the first hurdle entirely as yet, but they're in mid-air at the moment, sailing over it. 3-0 up inside 37 minutes here at Stamford Bridge, and a 1-goal aggregate deficit is now a 2-goal aggregate lead. And Middlesbrough have just had no answer whatsoever. A bright start, first 5 or 6 minutes from Borough were excellent, taking the game to Chelsea. But ever since they went 1-0 down with the Johnny Howson own goal, it has been all Chelsea. And the gulf between the two sides has been very evident. It is an understandable gulf. There's a Middlesbrough side that cost £17 million. It's a Chelsea starting 11 that cost £503 million. 29 times as much. Here's Mudryk. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Driving forward, Howson did well, came across, stopped his run, and the loose ball goes out of play, past the disconsolate Glover for a goal kick. It was 7 minutes to go to half-time. It's Chelsea 3, Middlesbrough 0. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, Borough, I don't know whether a change of formation, personnel, but you would fully expect that something's going to have to be done, because at the moment this game looks dead and buried, the tie looks dead and buried, and if anything, it's just a case of Chelsea. How many are we going to get tonight, to be honest with you? I'm not so sure Chelsea have been that good either, Jim. I've got to say, I think they've been workmanlike, they've done okay, but Middlesbrough have had opportunities to counter-attack them and play through them, and they just haven't been good enough to do so.
Just going back to that African Cup of Nations situation, Algeria, I mentioned they could go out tonight if they lose. They are now a goal down against Mauritania in that game. Angola and Mauritania leading those respective ties. Chelsea well in control of this one. 3-0 up on the night and 3-1 up on aggregate, and they haven't already got 2 feet at Wembley, then it's 23.5 inches. Hackney has just given a free kick away. You said you don't know how Middlesbrough get back into this game. Would you advocate a change of formation? Has it got to be a change of personnel, do you think? What can Michael Carrick try and do by way of finding a magic wand here to score the 2 unanswered goals they need from this point to extend the tie?
Well, I think they've got to try and get up the pitch slightly if they possibly can. You know, when I look at, they are defending very compact and deep, and I thought as soon as this game goes to 2-0, Chelsea have got them exactly where they want them, playing in a style that doesn't threaten the ball in any way, shape or form, and they're just going to have to gamble that they're going to leave gaps at the back, because if the game carries on, Jim, following the same format as it is, 6 or 7 isn't an outlandish scoreline.
Crooks has just picked up a yellow card as Middlesbrough again try to launch a counter-attack, and a touch became a tackle. That became a foul, and Crooks is in the book. And from a Middlesbrough perspective, of course, already out of the FA Cup, coming into this with a decent record in the league, in the face of horrendous injury problems recently. They've got to make sure that this doesn't have a psychologically damaging effect on their entire season. Palmer with a neat turn, left-footed ball clipped over the top. Chilwell knew he was offside. Fernandes couldn't get there, and Glover will come out and pick it up. They go to Birmingham at the weekend. They've then got a pair of home games, Sunderland and Bristol City. It's not out of the question they can get themselves into the playoff picture. Well, they are 11th in the Championship, but not that far adrift of the top 6 in the grand scheme of things. They've got to make sure that this, effectively, if it is going to be a night that ends in disappointment, stay self-contained. They've given it away. It could be 4, it should be 4. It is. It's Cole Palmer. And that is that. Chelsea have got the job done. Dan Barlaser losing possession, 5 yards outside the box. Palmer robbed him, took it on, slots into the bottom left-hand corner. Chelsea are at Wembley, and we've still got 50 minutes of the tie to go.
Well, the game was tough enough already without making real mistakes, and playing out from the back there. It's a straight ball from the goalkeeper. He's been nice and relaxed, but got caught on the ball really, really poor, flat-footed, and Palmer just stroked the ball into the bottom corner. And this is the absolute perfect storm for Chelsea. It really is. The draw, you know, has been reasonably kind to them. They wouldn't have wanted Liverpool or Fulham, that is for sure. And, well, they've had a comfortable night's work so far, and they're on their way to Wembley.
Now that's 10 in 23 Chelsea games for Cole Palmer, who's just looking up at the big screen and admiring his handiwork. Chelsea 4, Middlesbrough 0. And Kate Sarah gets his first outing. Here's Dale Fry. Back through the 6-yard box for Glover. Glover to Breuer. Middlesbrough determined to play out from the back. They're giving it away again. Palmer tackled inside the penalty area. Sterling lays it back. Gets a return ball, but Engel has defended that well enough. And Middlesbrough can breathe a huge sigh of relief, because this is a cup exit that isn't just elimination, but it's bordering on embarrassment, the way that things have unravelled for them. So determined to play out from the back, and it feels like there's a goal waiting to happen for Chelsea every time they try it.
Yeah, it certainly does. You feel sorry for Michael Carrick at the moment. As I say, his team have found it very, very difficult in this game, and Chelsea are warming 3 substitutes up, and it makes you wonder whether they're going to rotate their team at half-time to rest a few players for the big game on Friday now. Yeah, Aston Villa at home on Friday on TalkSport 2. Just a 72-hour window between the two games, but they're in a fantastic position now that they can rotate and they can give minutes to some youngsters. Might see Leo Castledine potentially, David Washington, Alfie Gilchrist, who has made a few substitute appearances in recent weeks. The young defender is another that might be called upon. But what a difference 25 minutes can make. That all the recriminations from those in the away end a fortnight ago at the Riverside Stadium, the difference between that and the euphoria which will greet the half-time whistle here, with Chelsea 4 goals to the good at the moment. They're trying to play out from the back themselves now with Colwell, and they have given it away. It's out for a throw that will be taken on the Middlesbrough right. Yeah, just took a little nick there off a Middlesbrough player, and Chelsea in possession once again. And to be honest with you, you rarely get semi-finals as comfortably as this. Very, very rarely. The only time you do normally is when a player's been sent off.
Fry hoists it high and forward, and it's easily chested down by Thiago Silva. Chilwell just losing out of Marcus Forss. Forss inside the penalty area here for Crooks. Hackney wanted an immediate pullback. It's laid back for Forss instead. And Chelsea are going to be able to play their way out from the back. Forss with a sliding challenge on Caicedo. It's a goal kick and it'll be taken in the first of 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half on TalkSport.
Yeah, this is what Chelsea can't afford to do there, just showboating their players, trying to play out in positions where it was never on to do so. You've got to make sure you're clinical from start to finish.
Silva to Colwell. Colwell bringing it towards the edge of the penalty area for Enzo Fernandez. Mudryk showing for the ball on halfway, but Fernandez has just played the conservative ball back to his centre halves. And Colwell will find Thiago Silva, and he will just saunter forward towards the halfway line for finding Disasi, the scorer of the 3rd goal. And now Colwell's got it again. Left-footed ball, a straight one down towards the left back Ben Chilwell. Mudryk working it round the corner of Van der Berg for Chilwell's run. Can they score a 5th before the break? He's going to have a corner to try and do so as Harrison comes back and puts the ball off the island. Ben Chilwell will be in no hurry to take this, only 2nd corner of the night for Chelsea. And an opportunity to really add salt into the wounds. In first half stoppage time, it'll be a left-footed away swinger from Chilwell. Middlesbrough with everybody back. Mudryk standing on the edge of the penalty area. Sterling unmarked on the edge of the D. Chilwell raises his right arm above his head. Left-footed ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It comes from Mudryk on the edge of the penalty area. No, not quite. Stepping forward to get it away. Johnny Howson was able to work it away from the Ukrainian. Caicedo goes all the way back for Petrovic. Out towards the Chelsea right-hand side for Sterling. And Palmer will probably have the last touch of this first half. Indeed he does. John Brooks puts whistle to mouth. And Middlesbrough trail off disconsolate. They have been absolutely destroyed with a 4-goal Chelsea salvo in 27 minutes. Johnny Howson putting through his own net. If he hadn't done, Breuer would have scored. And Fernandez, Disasi and Palmer all scoring in a 13-minute period around the half-hour mark. Middlesbrough majestic on home ground a fortnight ago. Disconsolate here. Chelsea 4, Middlesbrough 0 at half-time. It's 4-1 on aggregate. And it's all over by the shouting. It's Madueke for Mudryk for Chelsea and Dijksteel for Force for Middlesbrough. And we're back underway. Chelsea defending the shed end away to our left-hand side. Blue shirts and shorts and white socks. 5-time winners of this competition. And 9 years since they last won it. Looks as though they're almost certainly going to be back at Wembley for another crack at making it number 6. They beat Pochettino's Spurs the last time that they lifted the trophy. This is their 9th semi-final in 19 seasons, and it's going to be the 7th one of those that they've won. I'll run through the 2 teams for you in a moment. It's going to be a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side on this near side. Goals from Johnny Howson, own goal, Fernandez, Disasi and Palmer to Chelsea in the first half. Middlesbrough fans away to our left wouldn't be human if they hadn't had a conversation that half-time interval of perhaps the heaviest Middlesbrough defeat that they've ever seen in the flesh, and concerns that this might usurp it. Many of them, I'm sure, will have been at the Emirates the night that they lost 7 to Arsenal back in 2006, 18 years ago. Middlesbrough hoping in this second half just to try and find some positive, something to take back to Teesside with them and to build upon for the remainder of this season. Chelsea have just given a throw away on this near side. Caicedo unlucky. A throw taken by Engel. Fry getting it back to his goalkeeper. It bounced awkwardly in front of Glover. He had to take a couple of really hasty steps back to make sure he didn't meet it at Yorker length. Palmer then puts the pressure on him. Plays out for Fry. And Breuer has done well. Good industry from him. Fry's ball forward, deflecting off the Albanian international. And it's out for a throw that will be taken on the Middlesbrough left-hand side. Chelsea 4, Middlesbrough 0. A couple of minutes into the second half, in the company of Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, Borough looked as though it was a hot potato, the football there. Went back to the goal lead in a series of ping-pong as they've tried to play out from the back with no real confidence about their play. But as you said, from half-time onwards, it's a case of let's not concede another goal, and certainly can we get a goal.
Really good challenge from Sterling on Crooks. Chelsea working inside the area. Diving header away came from Clark. Bounces inside the Middlesbrough penalty area again, but Howson will take control and takes it down towards his own dead ball line, flicks it out towards Rav Vandenberg, and he will play it down the line. Steep learning curve. It is a young Middlesbrough team. Vandenberg, for instance, only 19. Rogers, not much older than that. Nor Hayden Hackney. So it is one of those nights where on an individual basis I'm sure players will learn from it, and that will be the message from Michael Carrick. But it's likely to be a tough one to take. Chelsea absolutely coasting, and you wonder what kind of transformative effect this might have, and they are a side that have won 3 in a row in the league. I mentioned earlier their really good home record in the last couple of months or so here. They got possession at the back with Thiago Silva, played forward, and Enzo Fernandez will work it back. Chelsea, Petrovic in goal. It's Disasi, Silva, Colwell and Chilwell the back 4. And Fernandez alongside Caicedo. The Sterling's on the left, Madueke on the right, and Palmer in support of Breuer up front. Middlesbrough have switched to a back 3 for this second half. Vandenberg has come in one. Dijksteel is now playing at right wing back with Vandenberg, Fry and Clark. Engel at left wing back as the ball goes back for goalkeeper Glover, who pirouettes inside his own penalty area and turns the ball away from Breuer. Barlaser and Hackney in the centre of midfield. Barlaser's lost it here. Madueke making his way forward. Palmer will chase after it, and the ball has gone out of play for a corner. Madueke staying down injured for a moment. It just took a heavy challenge about a yard outside the penalty area, but play will restart with the Chelsea corner.
Yeah, just nursing his shoulder, I think. Gone down heavily on his shoulder. And good opportunity there for him to drive at the Middlesbrough back line and just flick it past him, but just overhit it with a deflection, took a corner out of it.
No surprise the Borough have changed the shape?
No, I think you have to do something as a manager. You walk in that dressing room at 4-0 and if you don't do anything, even from the players' perspective, that they'll be looking at you and saying, look, give us some form of guidance, give us something to hang on to.
Goal back for Wimbledon in League 2 at MK Dons. They were 3 down early on. There's 3-1 now. Armani Little scored. Hearts have one back at home to Dundee and through Callan Neuvenhoff. This one is 4-0, 5 minutes into the second half. 4-1 on aggregate. Middlesbrough's first semi-final since they won the League Cup 20 years ago. They've had a good record in semi-finals. They beat Arsenal home and away that year. Actually won each of the last 3 League Cup semi-finals. Although the second leg was at home on each occasion. What they would give for a passionate Riverside tonight, rather than just a smattering of that passionate Riverside support away to our left-hand side in the shed end here this evening. Madueke is back on his feet, but is shaking his head pretty ruefully as he makes his way down towards this near side, and is just flexing his rotator cuffs on his right shoulder. It was a very heavy one that he took. Chelsea will be temporarily down to 10 men here as they take this corner. It's going to be Ben Chilwell who will fire it in. It's a really congested 6-yard box, probably about 15 in there. And plenty of them on the toes of the goalkeeper Glover. Chelsea 4 up and looking for a 5th. Left-footed, far towards the edge of the 6-yard box, it's headed away. Palmer's going to be able to retrieve the loose ball if he chooses to do so. He does, rather than let it go out of play for a throw. It's played back for Caicedo. Caicedo into the feet of Enzo Fernandez. Caicedo again out towards Palmer. Palmer trying to flick the ball away from Hackney and take him on the outside. Hackney recovered, stayed goal side, and Palmer beat him the second time of asking. Hackney hung his head. Palmer's cross far too heavy. Is going to be kept in on the Chelsea right-hand side by Chilwell, still over there having taken the corner. Now Colwell, it's a dipping shot that flashes across the face of goal. Glover had it covered, and he went a couple of yards wide.
Yeah, as I say, decent opportunity, decent angle to have a go at it, but I don't think he's put any curl on the ball. He's just driven it, and it's stayed straight and stayed wide. I thought Madueke was coming off the pitch then. He's walked from his team having a corner from one end all the way to the halfway line, and then walked all the way back up the touchline again to get involved in play. I tell you what, this could be a sending off.
Now Middlesbrough bringing the ball forward down the right-hand side. It's a yellow card for Thiago Silva. You say sending off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity is why you thought it might be.
Well, I thought it was last man, definitely, when he's bundled him to the ground. He still had a lot of work to do to get to the Chelsea goal.
All the save, Silver, potentially in the eyes of the referee, is that he was still out towards the right-hand touchline and a distance away from the penalty area. Certainly the free kick has been spotted down almost halfway to the halfway line from the edge of the penalty area. Silver's heart might have been in his mouth. He's the second Chelsea player booked tonight. Mudryk booked in the first half of descent. Crooks and Middlesbrough in the book. Middlesbrough have taken the free kick. Flick round the corner by Vandenberg. Hackney's got it left-hand side of the penalty area. Chip ball inside the penalty area is easily cleared. Broy will try and lead the counter-attack. Dijksteel's there first. He'll play it back for Clark, who will mop up on his left foot and flick it down towards Lucas Engel, the former Silkeborg player who cost a couple of £1 million last summer. And then Clark goes back to his goalkeeper. And Glover will fire it out towards the right-hand side for Dijksteel. Dijksteel under real pressure from Ben Chilwell. Tried to lay back for Vandenberg. And it goes up and goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Middlesbrough right-hand side. I'm sure in your Wildston days, you're probably on the end of the odd heavy defeat, the odd chastening performance.
I've been on the end of heavy defeats in all the teams I've played for, I'm afraid to say.
Now, the reason I pay reference to Wilson, when you were at the beginning of your career, and when you have your first really big defeat in a big game, it must be a tough one to take. It must take a little bit of getting over. Can you use it as a force for good?
Well, that's all you can do, to be honest with you. I mean, I think my first game for Wealdstone was a 5-1 defeat at Dorchester away, so I got used to it very quickly. Thank you for reminding me, Jim.
Free transfer back to Brent Council after that, is it? Well, there's been a goal in our feature game in League One tonight. Reading against Derby, Ian Abrahams.
Reading 1, Derby 0. Paul McKenna is the man who's got the goal. There's a shot from Femi Aziz on the right-hand side that smacked against the post, bounced out to about 6, 7, 8 yards out, and he slammed it beyond Vickers into the back of the net. Reading 1, Derby 0.
And amongst the goals in the National League, a significant one. Kidderminster have been struggling. Lead at Hartlepool by a goal to nil. Mari Morgan-Smith for Phil Brown's Kidderminster had a very good comeback at the weekend where they were 2 down and came back to win, and they lead away to Hartlepool tonight, which is a score that might be of some interest for Middlesbrough fans. Just up the road, Kevin Phillips, first game in charge of the Pools, and they're trailing it. Here's Raheem Sterling, 10 minutes into the second half, and not too much sign of any addition to the score. It's funny, I don't know what the statistic is, I've not got a clue, but it feels as though games that are 4-0 at half-time often end up being 4-0, 4-1, or maybe only 5-0 at full-time. Such is the way that the dynamic of the entire game changes, that it feels that the job is done after 45 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see whether this one goes the same way. Ball play for by Madueke here down the right-hand side of the penalty area for Breuer. Disasi pulling it back. Palmer flicking it inside the box, but it's headed away. Back towards Palmer. Killed it with his left foot. Right-footed effort then from Fernandez. And that almost sails down Eagles 12 away in the Matthew Harding stand. And out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Glover. 4-0 to Chelsea with 11 gone in the second half.
Yeah, I think the only way to almost change that stat, and I quite agree with you what you say there, Jim, is probably to make 4 or 5 substitutions at half-time, so the people that are coming on have got something to prove as well.
From a Chelsea perspective, you mean?
Yes.
Just to keep it fresh.
Exactly. Because the players that are on and feel as though, well, we've done our work, we're 4-0 up.
Rodgers is offside here for Middlesbrough. And it's going to be a free kick that Chelsea will take about 15 yards outside their penalty area. They only made the one change, which was Mudryk being replaced by Madueke. On the bench, Badiashile, Chukwuemeka, Gallagher, and youngsters Washington, Gilchrist and Castledine. And a couple of goalkeepers as well, both youngsters, Lucas Bergstrom and Ted Kurd on the bench as well. Another teenage goalkeeper in the Chelsea ranks, product of the academy, on the bench tonight. Sure he won't get a run out. It's going to be a throw that'll be taken by Disasi on the Chelsea right. Stabbed back to him by Palmer. They'll do it all again as it hits Hackney on its way out of play. Throw that Disasi will take as he shuffles forward and nicks a yard, maybe nicks a second yard as well. Palmer trying to take it on, a little bit of wrestling going on, and it's a free kick that'll be taken by Middlesbrough. Referee John Brooks not happy with the free kick being taken as it was. The ball's in the wrong place, or whether it was moving, and Clark will go back to his goalkeeper. There's an excited buzz, not really a fervour around Stamford Bridge now, with there being absolutely no jeopardy in the tie anymore, it feels. Middlesbrough needing 3 without reply in 32 minutes to take this to extra time. Away goals of no bearing. Ball brought forward by Noni Madueke towards the edge of the penalty area, clipped in by Palmer, and it goes into the hands of Glover. And Glover will bring the ball towards the edge of the penalty area and then ball it down towards Engel. Engel controlling it, flicking it back inside. Dan Barlaser. Barlaser back towards Clark. Clark taking a first touch, then a second, and then driving it forward. Rodgers putting a little bit of pressure on Thiago Silva, unfair pressure as it turned out, just hands on the shoulders and just push Silva to the ground as he tried to sweep that away. He did get it clear of Rodgers, instead of being a Middlesbrough throw. It's a Chelsea free kick, which they'll take midway inside their own half. 4-0 to Chelsea. Had a big win against Middlesbrough a few years back. I think it was in the 07-08 season, might have been the following year. They won 5-0 at Middlesbrough. I think that's probably the last time that Middlesbrough lost a game by 5 clear goals. They had a heavy home defeat to Brighton in the FA Cup last season, which was actually the catalyst for a really good run. On the back of that, they won 6 of the next 7. And that is what Michael Carrick will be hoping to mastermind in the embers of this League Cup campaign, in which they've reached the semi-finals, having beaten Huddersfield and Bolton and Bradford and Exeter and Port Vale, and then had that first leg win as well. And the Borough fans have remained to a man, and they're still in fine voice away to our left-hand side.
Chelsea look as though they're content in just keeping possession of the ball, not fussed about chasing more goals in this game, and as I say, Borough can't do anything to affect the Chelsea's momentum in the game.
Ball just too far ahead of Mudryk. It will be cleared easily down the Middlesbrough left-hand side by Clark. Here is Morgan Rodgers, heavily linked with a move to Aston Villa, who've had a couple of bids turned down, we understand. Engel then flicking it down the touchline. Look at the Hackney. Put out of play for another Middlesbrough throw. Midway inside the Chelsea half. Chelsea 4, Middlesbrough 0. 4-1 on aggregate. And the score has remained this way for the last 20 minutes or so now. Throw down the line from Engel. Rodgers will get there down by the corner quadrant. Rolls the studs of his right foot over the top of the ball, but Disasi can get it away. Played by Madueke. Enzo Fernandez turning it back to his goalkeeper. Side-footed through the penalty area by Petrovic. There was a poor touch in behind Chilwell. Chilwell turns and applauds him, but it's given Middlesbrough a throw led with the edge of the Chelsea box.
Yeah, and it's well, as I say, Borough give the ball away and then retrieve it once again. Howson.
Chelsea get it forward. Breuer tried to turn, loses out. Middlesbrough able to play it forward once more. Little drop of the shoulder from Dan Barlaser. Caicedo comes across. Dijkstale played in. Dijkstale. Crooks, I think, would have been offside. Rodgers played it into his path. Actually might have broken for Dijkstale, but Chelsea cleared anyway. Fry then caught by Breuer as there was a 50-50 on halfway. Breuer entitled to go for it as the ball comes back forward, and it's going to be a Chelsea ball over on the far touchline. No, Middlesbrough. It has been given Middlesbrough's way. Breuer possibly just coming back from an offside position there. Here's Clark. Wimbledon 3-1 down and MK Dons, and a man down as well now. Bila has been sent off. I'll run through all the scores for you very shortly. And Clark in possession. Played forward towards Howson. Over the top, Engel chesting it down, taking it down towards the corner flag. Left-footed ball in from him. Bounces through the penalty area. Chilwell try and gets it clear. Dijkstale setting up Rodgers. Left-footed effort from him. Straight at Thiago Silva. And it's blocked out of play for a Middlesbrough throw. Better from Middlesbrough.
Yeah, it certainly was. And Rodgers got a lot of space in the box there. Thought he should have done slightly better, freeing himself up and finding a shot, but cannoned into the Chelsea back line.
Now played for by Barlaser and chested down on the edge of his own penalty area by Colwell. Well, the offside flag is up as Crooks goes across to engage, and it's a free kick that Chelsea will take. I'll take nothing away from Chelsea, from the many positive aspects of this performance. I'm not trying to do that by asking you this question, Stuart, but what will Maurizio Pochettino want to see more of in the half hour of playing time that remains? What turns this from an 8 out of 10 performance into something better than that?
I would probably contest the fact this is an 8 out of 10 performance personally.
Not even that?
No, I don't think so. I think, they've been comfortable in it. I think Borough have played their part in making it easy for Chelsea, if I'm being honest with you. But listen, they've scored 4 goals in the first half. I think they've taken their foot off the gas now. If it was me, and I remember, in my younger days playing for O'Brien Clough, and I think we were 4-0 up against Aston Villa at home, and I ended up not going forward, and I come in after the game and he absolutely berated me for not trying to get a fifth or sixth. The game finished 6-0, but he was berating me for not trying to get the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. It taught me a valuable lesson.
Well, Vandenberg has just picked up a yellow card as Chelsea tried to break quickly. Vandenberg pulling his man back, and Chelsea will use this break and play as an opportunity to make a double change. First of all, a straight swap at left back where Alfie Gilchrist is going to come on, and he'll replace Ben Chilwell, and Conor Gallagher is going to come on as well, and it's Big Broyer who will come off, so presumably Palmer will move forward and play in the most advanced position for Chelsea now as Conor Gallagher comes on to replace him. Good to see more minutes for Gilchrist, who made his debut against Preston and has now got 6 games to his credit. They have shuffled things around actually. Gilchrist has come on at right back, which is his favoured position, so Disassi's moved into the centre. Colwell's gone out to left back, so it's a back four now of Gilchrist, Disassi, Silva and Colwell. Here is Conor Gallagher down towards Madueke. What did you make of Ben Chilwell's first start since September?
Well, when you consider that length of time not starting a game, nice and steady, it was probably the ideal game for him as well, Jim. Nice and comfortable, not too much defending to do, got forward, looked very athletic, didn't look off the pace in any way, shape or form, so he'll be pleased with that, and off the pitch, and you fully expect him to be nice and fresh for the cup game coming up later in the week.
That's going to be very interesting to hear Chelsea fans reacted to Chilwell's performance, the overall performance, whether they agree with you that this has been a 7 out of 10 Chelsea performance today. You can have your say. 03717 223344, your hotline to the nation, with Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole taking your calls on the Sports Bar here on TalkSport from 10 o'clock tonight, and more reaction as well tomorrow. Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy's back tomorrow morning from 6. We'll also be looking ahead to Fulham Liverpool, and just the tip of the iceberg though, as you know, with Alan and Ali at 6 tomorrow. If you fancy something a bit different on your morning commute, Chris Evans' Breakfast Show weekdays from 6:30 on Virgin Radio, which you can listen to on the app or on DAB. So Middlesbrough still gamely pushing forward as best they can. Have it with Hackney near the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, but Gallagher's going to be able to take control of the situation and bring it away, and he'll take it towards halfway and out towards the left-hand touchline. It is a night where Middlesbrough have only had the one shot on target so far. Attempts 10-3 in Chelsea's favour. XG is 2.6 to nothing. The ball with Madueke on the right flank here for Chelsea. Work through the midfield for Conor Gallagher. Caicedo back towards halfway. Excellent dress rehearsal this for Chelsea ahead of the FA Cup tie in 72 hours time on TalkSport 2 against the Villa. 7:45 kickoff, part of a double bill Friday night. We'll also be bringing you Spurs against holders Manchester City, 2 of the 9 ties that we'll bring you over FA Cup 4th round weekend. The League Cup final, which Chelsea will be in, seemingly, on Sunday, the 25th of February, and that'll be Chelsea against Fulham or Liverpool, live on TalkSport as well. So Borough bringing the ball forward now with Crooks. Low right-footed skidding cross in, looking for Rodgers, but easily knocked away. Poked clear by Disasi. And then Fernandes will be able to easily work it down towards Madueke, who's not showing any ill effects of that shoulder injury. Picked up, that's the pass of the night. Through for Conor Gallagher, edge of the area, is inside the box, can't keep his feet. Palmer will try and take over. Clark slides in, and he's out of play for a corner.
Yeah, fantastic run there by Gallagher. That energy of his relentless galloper went straight through the middle, and I think he was just trying to cut it back and wrong foot the defender, but the defender was having none of it and ended up going for a corner. Good movement.
Wimbledon down to 9 in that grudge game at Milton Keynes tonight. MK Dons 3, Wimbledon 1. Paul Kalambai set off as well. Here's Madueke, right hand side of the penalty area. We'll go through the scores as promised in a moment. Here's Palmer for Chelsea, bottom right hand corner of the box. Colwell urged to shoot, was never likely to, he's so far out, who's good 20 outside the penalty area. Sterling working it infield for Thiago Silva, who rolls his studs over the top of the ball. It's a very neat turn from him. Palmer clipping it forward, left-footed, and Disasi couldn't get hold of it. Would have been a wonderful team goal for Chelsea. Pass after pass, one incisive chip over the top, took 3 Middlesbrough defenders out of it. Axel Disasi galloping forward, just couldn't get the touch that he wanted.
Yeah, probably just needed to take it with his left foot, cushion it with his left, hit it with his right. He's trying to have a swinger as it's coming sort of straight at him almost, and very difficult manoeuvre.
So in the EFL Trophy tonight, Peterborough have beaten Crawley by 2-1, and they'll be at home to Wimbledon in the next round. In League One, these games in the final 10 minutes: Bolton 1, Cheltenham 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Exeter 1, Charlton 2, Northampton 2, Oxford 0, Barnsley 1, and Wigan against Wickham is still 0-0. Middlesbrough are going to make a change. Howson coming off. That's with the weekend in mind, or the next game in mind. Anyway, not this weekend. They go to Birmingham in the league. Lewis O'Brien will come on to replace him. League 2, Bradford 1, Salford 1, Mansfield 1, Sutton 1, MK Dons 3, 9-man Wimbledon 1. The Scottish Premiership, Hearts were 2 down at home to Dundee, but have got it back level, 2-2 there. As you were in the African Cup of Nations, Angola 1, Burkina Faso 0, Mauritania 1, Algeria 0, and that means that Angola will win the group, Burkina Faso will go through with them, and Algeria will be out. The other scoreline in the 8 o'clock kickoff in League One, Reading leading Derby by 1-0. That brings you up to date. Here, it's as it was at half-time, 4-0 to Chelsea. A predominant feeling we're just seeing at time, really. Clark letting the ball run back for his goalkeeper, Glover. Have there been any Middlesbrough positives at all for you?
Well, there was certainly a positive start to the game. It's been difficult. They've had injuries to contend with as well prior to the game, and as you say, it's difficult. We don't come down too hard on them, I think, but they've been outclassed tonight. There's no doubt about that. Chelsea have been clinical when they've needed to be in the first half, and won the game in the first half.
Another chance for Chelsea to rotate. Carney Chukwuemeka is coming on. He's missed almost 5 months this season because of a knee problem. He made his comeback in the last game against Fulham as a substitute, and the 20-year-old replaces Moises Caicedo. So Chukwuemeka for Caicedo. That is the 3rd Chelsea change. They've only got one more junction at which they can make one, so it's a double change potentially next up for Chelsea. Middlesbrough have still got 3 more substitutions at their disposal and 2 points at which to make them. Glover getting the ball forward. Disasi heads it away from Rodgers, who's chased gamely but hasn't had any opportunity tonight. Madueke on the Chelsea right in front of us. We're stationed very high on a lofty vantage point here at Stamford Bridge here on TalkSport, about 8-9 yards inside the half that Chelsea are defending in front of the shed end. Dale Fry leaving it for Engel. Just came back and recovered. Now Fry will pick it up. Oh, Sterling very nearly embarrassed it. It's gone out of play for a corner ultimately. The ball went back to Glover. He didn't want it in the first place. Panic-stricken knocked it to Fry, who seemingly was oblivious that Sterling was closing him down at a rate of knots and didn't turn it away quickly enough. Sterling got the touch. As he tried to divert it towards goal, it hit Fry and went behind for a corner.
I just wonder whether they've had TalkSport commentary on in the dressing room at half-time and thought, you know what, we're going to make Piercy look good tonight and try to get a 6 against.
That'll be it. I'm sure that's what happened. Sterling out towards Palmer. Palmer down towards the corner flag. 17 minutes to go. Middlesbrough can knock this one away with a high up and under clearance from O'Brien, which will be fielded by Gilchrist. O'Brien, another player, has had horrendous injury problems. He made his first appearance in nearly 4 months as he came on for the final 10 minutes at the weekend, on loan from Nottingham Forest. It's only his 8th game of the season because of those injury problems. Engel heads it away and finds Barlasser. Barlasser's able to turn it away from Thiago Silva. Worked for by Rav Vandenberg, the younger brother of Liverpool's Sepp Vandenberg. And Clark's got it now. 4 from him to Hackney. Hayden Hackney sends a high right-footed ball, inch perfect out towards Dijkstale, whose control was neat enough. Back from him to Vandenberg. Vandenberg forward, neat turn by Crooks. Crooks on the right-hand touchline, has got Dijkstale making a run. He's laid it back instead. Vandenberg to Barlasser. Middlesbrough maintaining possession, going backwards at some speed as well. Now Glover to Clark inside his own penalty area. Wanted a second touch, had time for it. Engel works it through the midfield, but easily mopped up by Enzo Fernandez. Gilchrist with a slightly underhit back pass, but no harm done, no sign of it being done. Petrovic just had to take a couple of extra steps outside his penalty area to be able to clear. On the loose ball, sails down towards this near touchline where Matt Clark will field it, and the former Portsmouth man works it to Hackney. Back to his goalkeeper again. Glover looking a bag of nerves every time the ball is hit with any kind of pace back to him inside the 6-yard box. He did get that one away, and then when Dijkstale helps it forward, it's just a question of getting the ball out of harm's way to give Middlesbrough a breather. It was 20 yards away from the nearest man in red, and Chelsea will build from the back again. We're into the final 15 minutes now on TalkSport. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as I say, Borough look as though they probably had most of their good fortune in the first leg. Certainly Chelsea squandering a lot of opportunities in that, but that's certainly not been the case tonight, and they've been breaching Borough's back line too readily.
Madueke on the right hand side of the box, gets it back, pulls it back from the dead ball line, and the sliding Clark can steer it away. And it goes out for a corner that'll be taken on the Chelsea right hand side. Haven't been too many of those. This only their 6th of the game. There's one that Palmer will take. Just comes across and retrieves the ball from in front of the electronic hoardings, spots it down, both arms above his head this time, and takes 2-3 steps back, right in front of a photographer, runs up, hits it really deep left-footed. It'll bounce once on the left-hand side of the penalty area and then scoot away straight out of play for a throw on the far touchline.
If you try to do that, I don't think you could try and do it. It's incredible. It's so hard. It's literally not landed in the penalty box at all before it went out of play on the other side of the pitch.
I talked about Hearts coming back from 2-0 down at home to Dundee. Lawrence Shanklin, their top scorer, missed the penalty, but they've now gone 3-2 up. So they have turned it around in this second half. And in 2 down just before the hour mark, they lead 3-2 with 3 minutes to go at Tynecastle. The ball is out of play for a throw. They'll be taken on the Middlesbrough right-hand side. Charlton in their game in League One, down to 10 men. Still 2-2 at home to Northampton in the closing stages. Tayo Edun is the player sent off. Gallagher has got possession for Chelsea. Saunders inside the penalty area, and he's slotted in by Palmer. 4-5. Well, he's taking some time in coming, but goal number 5 is there to add another seal to a great Chelsea night. And even if they haven't been at their imperious best, they've been plenty good enough for the task in hand. Bring on Wembley.
Well, Conor Gallagher done what Conor Gallagher does for Chelsea. He offers them energy and drive. Really good play there on the left-hand side. Dipped his shoulder, went past his man, pulled it back, and Palmer opened his body up and slotted it with his right foot. 5-0.
5 goals in his last 6 Premier League games. He's up to 11 in all competitions now for Chelsea. Conor Gallagher just able to drop his shoulder, get it away from Barlaser. And Palmer, who missed a couple of really gilt-edged chances in the first leg, has got a brace tonight and has got 13 minutes to complete a hat-trick.
Yeah, he done exactly, Barlaser done what you can't do as a defender. You can't show a player the line and not match him pace. And that's exactly what he done with Gallagher.
Blue smoke bomb has been thrown onto the field over on the far touchline, and that is why there's a delay to the restart. Nobody seems remotely interested. It's about a yard in from that far touchline. It's just blown itself out, so the smoke has stopped, but nobody seems as though they want to go and retrieve it.
I think the bomb disposal unit man is just wandering round to the far corner now. He's got a little cage, and I think he's going to just pop it in that little cage.
It's not your first rodeo, is it? You know what's going on.
That's absolutely magnificent. Top work. It's comforting to know that you sit in a stadium and there is actually someone sat in the stadium who's got a tin box to put a firework in.
Well, it's hat time for Middlesbrough. As Sterling drives forward from the restart, goes down towards the edge of the penalty area, but Van der Beek's going to be able to knock it away. 5-0 Chelsea. And the ball out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Middlesbrough far touchline. Is actually a Chelsea ball. Late winner seemingly for York at Oxford City in the National League. Will Davis in stoppage time there. They're 2-1 up. Ball thrown back towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Petrovic side-footing it out. And Enzo turning it very neatly through the midfield. Petrovic looking for what will be his 4th clean sheet in 10 games in Chelsea colours. Ball down for Alfie Gilchrist now. It's over hit from him. And goes all the way through to the goalkeeper Glover. Ball from Glover to Clark. And Clark controlling it on the edge of the penalty area, and he'll play it in towards Barlaser, who didn't really want it there, with Chelsea players closing him down quickly. Then as Engel works it back through the midfield straight to Gallagher. He plays it in for Madueke, who chops it onto his left foot, and it's in for 6. Van der Beek with the last touch to help it over the line, desperately trying to clear it off the line. There's nothing he could do about it, but another very quick double strike from Chelsea in the second half. Noni Madueke will claim it. It's Chelsea 6, Middlesbrough 0. Borough's biggest defeat in 18 years, coming at precisely the wrong moment.
Yeah, it certainly has. As they trying to play out in a really bad area there, and once again it was a combination of the substitutes. Gallagher supplying the pass for Madueke, both of them off the bench and something to prove, and contributed in the last goal. Gallagher, he's certainly done exactly the same once again.
Well, he scored against Wimbledon earlier in this League Cup run, and that was definitely going in. Van der Beek coming back, it was just far too easy. They scythed through them. That's 2 goals in 4 minutes, probably because of the delayed restart after goal number 5. 2 goals in about 90 seconds of playing time. This cannot end soon enough for Middlesbrough. Well, Chelsea fans have not had a huge amount of cheer, particularly here at Stamford Bridge over the last 18 months or so. What a cathartic night this will be. A massive cup semi-final victory for them. But credit's due to the Middlesbrough fans. We look away to our left-hand side of the shed end, and they're still there. All of those that are here, I'm sure none of them have left early. Scarves still being wheeled around the head. A show of defiance from the Teesside loyal. Ball inside the penalty area as they look for a consolation, and they got it. But the offside flag is up. It's a straight ball in from Hackney, headed by Crooks. Flag up, and it stays 6-0.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Really tight call there, I think. but just maybe offside. And as I say, a good glancing header. Goalkeeper, no chance.
Well, there is no VAR. There will be for the final. No VAR in action for either semi-final. Those that have seen the replay tell me it is really tight, but probably just about correct. There is a very impressive ratio. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's about 96% of offside calls are correct. And from officials that officiate Premier League games. It is a Premier League officiating team that are doing this. Nick Greenhow with that call. That is...
I think they should be applauded a little bit more than they actually are, you know. They get criticised for one they missed in a blue moon.
1 in 25 they get wrong.
That is incredible.
Yeah. I don't know whether you've ever tried those exercises that sometimes you can see, Let me tell you, I didn't get 24 out of 25. Here's Madueke making his way forward. He'll be helped on inside the penalty area, and then one Middlesbrough defender clears it into another, and it ricochets away off O'Brien and goes out for another corner. They've just simply got to try and keep a lid on this now, Middlesbrough. Always seems as a fan, I don't know whether it did as a player, be a big difference between a 6 and a 7. Palmer's going to take a corner for Chelsea. The corner's worked short. And back it comes from Madueke. Back down towards Cole Palmer again on the right flank. Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez back through the midfield. Recycled neatly through that midfield area by Chukwuemeka. And we are going to see an appearance from Leo Castledine very shortly for Chelsea. What a big night it will be for him, a central midfielder, 18 years of age. He's going to come on here for Raheem Sterling. Castledine, whose dad Stuart, you might remember, actually played in an FA Cup quarter-final for Wickham. And he won it. You remember that? Roy Essendon signed from Simpax, the famous story as they knocked Leicester out of the FA Cup quarter-finals. Well, Stuart Castledine played that day. He had a couple of dozen top division appearances for Wimbledon, and his lad Leo is coming on here for the closing stages for his Chelsea debut. So a fantastic night for the Castledine family, and he will be replacing Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, fantastic for him, young player getting on. It's a great game to come into as well, that is for sure. Semi-final of a major trophy.
Already there's a chant of Leo rings around Stamford Bridge. You'll love that. 5 minutes to go. 6-0 Chelsea, 6-1 on aggregate. Middlesbrough's task from here, 5 in 5 minutes to take it to extra time. Gilchrist on the right-hand touchline, just trying a clever little trick, a flick with his right foot onto his left, but just ran away from him and Engel, goes out of play. The referee's called play back though, and said that it took a touch off the Middlesbrough players. It's going to be a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side. 85 on the clock, 6-0. Ball with Gilchrist, work back inside his own half for Disassi. Full-time whistle starting to go around the country in the league games. Bradford 1, Salford 1 is the result. Bolton have beaten Cheltenham 1-0 in League 1. And Peterborough beating Crawley by 2-1 in the earlier game, the EFL Trophy. In League 1, Exeter leading at Bristol Rovers deep in stoppage time. Similarly, Barnsley 1-0 up away at Oxford. Charlton, Northampton's 2-2. Wigan, Wickham 0-0. In the Scottish Premiership, Hearts 3, Dundee 2, still playing in that game. And in the African Cup of Nations, it's as you were. Angola leading Burkina Faso 1-0, Mauritania 1, Algeria 0. So Algeria going out on the day that Ghana have already been knocked out. Angola are going to win that group, Burkina Faso going through. Middlesbrough pushing forward towards the edge of the penalty area, but Gallagher has been able to repel the threat. Enzo Fernandez turning back inside his own penalty area for Petrovic. Petrovic's ball forward, helped on out towards the Chelsea left for Castledine, looking very busy. The player's about 5'10", 5'11", something like that. Shock of dark hair. And here's Gilchrist, a shaven-headed youngster, playing at right back since coming on. Down from him to Madueke. Madueke facing up two Middlesbrough players, couldn't get past them. Now the ball played out towards the Middlesbrough left-hand side as they seek a consolation. Morgan Rogers with a shot. There is the consolation. He's pinged it in from outside the penalty area. Opened up his right foot, curved it beautifully. He scored in every round of the competition, but he won't be playing in the final. It's a consolation for Middlesbrough. 6-1 Chelsea.
Well, absolute top quality goal there. I've got to say, balls fell to him on the left-hand side of the box. Just opened it up onto his right foot and guided it into the far corner. Great finish.
Late winner for Northampton at Charlton in League One. Louis Apere has scored that. Charlton's winless run's going to go to 12. It'll be their 60th in 7. Northampton still trying to get in touch with the playoff chasers there, and they lead 3-2 right at the end of that game. Mansfield missing a good opportunity in League 2 tonight. Would have been a point off the top of League 2 if they'd won, but they've been held by basement boys Sutton, who moved off the bottom. 1-1 the scoreline there. Here it's 6-1 and 6-2 on aggregate. Well, a moment for the Middlesbrough fans away to our left-hand side to remember. Is a beautifully taken goal by Rogers, his 7th for the club. Gilchrist bring the ball forward here for Chelsea. Worked back by Enzo Fernandez. The Borough fans in their gallows humour. We've scored a goal, is what they're singing. Gilchrist. Hearts have beaten Dundee 3-2. Gilchrist forward through the midfield for Chukwuemeka. Enzo Fernandez sending it out to the Chelsea left-hand side, where Colwell will try and take it on past Dyksdale. He's flicked it off the Borough substitute, and it goes out of play for a throw. Throw that has been taken quickly. Middlesbrough on the back foot again as Chelsea look for goal number 7. They'll bring it forward here towards the edge of the penalty area. Referee not getting involved, despite Chelsea protests that they should have had a free kick near the edge of the box. And the ball is cleared by Glover and put out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the far touchline. 6-1 Chelsea, the last knockings of the game here on TalkSport.
Yep, we've certainly had some goals tonight, that is for sure, and Chelsea will be absolutely delighted to be in this cup final in about a month's time. So good opportunity for them, taking on the winners of Fulham and Liverpool.
Yeah, second leg of that one with Liverpool leading it 2-1 from the first leg is this time tomorrow. And it's live on TalkSport. Build up starting at 7. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. And you won't miss the kick from Craven Cottage with Sam Matterface alongside Scott Minto tomorrow. Middlesbrough made a change. They brought Gilbert on for Matt Crooks for the final few seconds of the game. How much stoppage time is going to be added on? 3 largely irrelevant minutes still to come. Ball dragged back by Rogers, edge of the penalty area. O'Brien trying to take it on, he couldn't. Chelsea will bring it forward and then give it away. Run back by Crooks, by Clark, I beg your pardon, and then Clark will take it on, try and get past Gilchrist. It's come off and goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Middlesbrough left-hand side by the most recently arrived of their substitutes, Gilbert. Gilbert a yard in from the left-hand touchline, trying to take it down towards the corner flag, but as he gets the return ball, he's offside. 6-1 with 2.5 minutes to go. Is this a performance? Well, not a performance necessarily. Is it a result that can transform Chelsea's season? They have been picking up in the league. They're up to 9th. Can this be a building block for them?
Well, what I would say is this. You're in a major final, that is for sure. You know, in a season that's been a little bit up and down for Chelsea, to say the least. Certainly the league campaign, they're in a major final and got an opportunity of silverware, and at the start of any season all you want is silverware, whatever that looks like, I would suggest, you know.
Now remember, we were talking about it earlier, they haven't won a domestic trophy since 2017. They have won the Champions League, the FIFA World Club Cup, the Europa League, since they last won a domestic honour. And will they be able to get their hands on a domestic honour? If they end up playing against Fulham, of course it's a local derby of some repute. They end up playing against Liverpool, scored to settle, and lost a couple of cup finals to Liverpool a couple of years ago. Clark In strongly on Madueke, no foul. Now Middlesbrough can bring it forward here with Engel. Engel slipping it round the side of Gilchrist. Rodgers is quick, he's in again. Gilchrist back goal side, stops him getting a shot in. Good defending, good salvage act. He hasn't got the ball back, but Chelsea doubling up on Morgan Rodgers, and Enzo Fernandez do well to pick his pocket, and it's chipped out towards Castledine, and he's kept it in on the left flank, and he's going to be able to bring it forward here for Chelsea. Falling towards Gallagher, 30 seconds to go. Chukwuemeka back for Enzo Fernandez, down towards Gilchrist. Gilchrist bringing it forward over the halfway line. 6-1, it's going to finish seemingly, unless Chelsea can add a 7th with the last attack of the game. Borough will be able to get it away from Madueke, seemingly to stop that happening. Hackney down towards Gilbert, he's been caught in possession. One last chance might come yet. Madueke on the Chelsea right, pulled back by him for Alfie Gilchrist. Square from Gilchrist through the midfield for Enzo Fernandez. Chukwuemeka turns it around the corner, can't find the man, the full-time whistle goes, and Chelsea are at Wembley in yet another League Cup final. Well, back in the day, they were Middlesbrough's cup nemesis. They beat them in a League Cup final, they beat them in an FA Cup final at the back end of the 20th century, and now in the 21st century, they've destroyed Middlesbrough dreams. And they're through with an emphatic margin of victory, 6-1 on the night, and if there was any jeopardy from that first leg, it very quickly fizzled out. 4 goals in a 27-minute first half period got the job done for Chelsea. As soon as Chelsea were back on level terms on aggregate, Borough fell away. Chelsea, with 6 of the best, have caned the Borough, and they are in the 2024 League Cup final.